Welcome MMA fans, people on YouTube. This is the Hardcore MMA Fan Show coming at you with UFC 89 predictions. This is Bisping versus Lieben, and it's coming from UK. It's going to be on Spike TV for free, so everybody can watch it.
Alright.
So the next fight coming up is Paul Taylor, Chris Lytle.
Alright, well, Paul Taylor, Chris Lytle pretty much mirror images of each other, pretty much. I think Chris Lytle may hit a little bit harder. Maybe he's a little better on the ground too. But I mean, as far as both being just knockdown, drag out fighters who just have this awesome style, it's awesome to watch. Then they're pretty much mirror images. I think I'm going with Chris Lytle on this one, though. I think that he will possibly win by knockout or a decision, or a close decision.
Paul Taylor, Chris Lytle, like Tom was saying, they're both sluggers, but they both have a pretty good ground game.
Yeah.
Chris Lytle coming off that fight with Josh Koscheck, that was a bloody fight.
Yeah, that was.
And he had so much heart. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody, I was cheering for him. Everybody was cheering for him. I mean, he just kept coming. He didn't care. He didn't care that he was bleeding. He didn't care that...
He didn't care that he knew that he had pretty much lost the fight. He knew that, but he continued to fight anyways. He didn't just roll over and give up like we see fighters do in the past. He kept fighting, even though he knew he was probably going to lose that decision, that he was going to lose the decision. He kept fighting anyways.
Yeah, these guys are very similarly matched, and I'm looking for fight of the night.
Yeah, I'd say it'll be fight of the night. Both of them are warriors. I enjoy watching both of them fight. But I think that Chris Lytle is going to prevail on this, and I think that he has a chance of knocking Paul Taylor out. And I would possibly give him the edge on the ground. So, but they're both warriors. It'll be an entertaining fight either way.
I'm going to give it to Paul Taylor just because he's in his, his own country, his backyard, so to speak. He's hungry, He's just coming up. He's hungry, and so I give it to Paul Taylor. I think Paul Taylor will win by decision. I think it'll be one heck of a fight. It may be a split decision, but it's going to be a slugfest. So look for fight of the night from this fight. This is going to be a good one.
All right, next up we're going to talk about Jardine versus Vera. Keith Jardine and Brandon Vera. This fight right here is kind of you don't want to say a make or break it for either fighter, but as far as who's going to stay at the top of the roster, it kind of is.
Jardine coming off the fight with Vanderlei Silva, it was over so quick.
Yeah.
He can say that he got baited in and got knocked out, but
Silva's an animal. Pretty much.
He's not known for his game plans.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
So I would say, but as far, don't get me wrong, Keith Jardine's an awesome fighter. He's definitely, Greg Jackson's one of the most awesome, possibly the most awesome trainer.
And that gives you an edge in the game.
Gives you an edge, yeah. So
I'm sure Greg Jackson's already seen a possibly way to beat Brandon Vera.
Yeah, and Brandon Vera, though, he hasn't shown us a whole lot lately. I'm a big fan of Brandon Vera, but I'm also probably one of his biggest critics as far as a fan, because I think that he's capable of a lot more than what he shows us. But it should be an interesting fight. I would say I'm probably going to go with Jardine because I think Jardine's cardio is a lot better than Vera. Vera's cardio didn't seem to hold up in his last fight, in my opinion. I think that even though he won that fight, I think that he could have had a better showing if he had better cardio. So I'm going with Jardine. I think that he's going to have better cardio and he'll have a better game plan, and he's a tough guy. So
yeah, Brandon Vera looked kind of dry in his last fight against the newcomer Reese Andy.
Yeah.
I'm personally going to go with Vera. I hope he comes out looking like the old Vera, like he keeps saying. I won't come out looking like I used to. And I really hope he does. If he does, then he has a very good chance of beating Jardine. Main event, we got Michael the Count Bisping versus Chris Lieben. No crippler, Chris Lieben.
Yeah, of course, I want Chris Lieben to win this fight. But whether or not he can, I'm not 100% sure. I would love to say that I think Chris Lieben is going to come in and knock Bisping out. But I'm not positive enough to make that statement. But I'm still going to give the edge to Lieben. I think that he has the tools to beat Bisping.
Bisping said that Chris Lieben comes in with some wide punches, which he does. I mean, that's his style. He's been a little bit more methodical, a little bit more technical in his last couple fights, but when it came right down to it, and when he came to knock out, it was just a brawl.
Yeah.
But Bisping seems to think if he can just throw some straight punches, then he can put away Lieben. I don't see that happening.
Bisping is focusing on Lehman's fight against Anderson Silva, and let's face it, Bisping's not even close to Anderson Silva. And Lehman's not the same Lehman that he was when he fought Anderson Silva. And so I think that if he's trying to base his game plan off of that fight, then he's making a mistake. Lehman's a little bit more technical now than he used to be. I just don't see Bisping knocking Lehman out. I don't see that happening, but I can see Lehman knocking Bisping out. And I think that they're actually fairly evenly matched on the ground, so it should be interesting. But I have a feeling that Lehman's going to pull this off.
God forbid this fight goes to the judges, is all I'm saying, because last time he fought in the UK, he lost that fight. Bisping lost that fight. Everybody knew he lost that fight. So I'm sure Lieben's going to come out and wanting to destroy him. He's not going to give the judges a chance to screw him out of a win. And he looks so determined. He said he's quit drinking and everything. And he looks in great shape. Good cardio. I mean, he said that the reason he lost a couple of those fights against Caleb Starnes, he lost against Jason McDonald, was because he was making that transition from a brawler into a more technical fighter. But, you know...
He also, and during that time he wasn't very disciplined, I mean, in his training.
Yeah.
But like he said, he was still drinking and stuff at that time, right?
Yeah, but now he's the head coach of the Icon Gym. He's dedicated to training, and I cannot wait to see this fight.
Yeah, his last couple of performances were awesome.
He looked a little bit more methodical, a little bit more level-headed. If he stays that way against Bisping, then Bisping's going to have trouble. I mean, Bisping thinks he's just going to walk in there and be able to take him out with some straight punches. And if you hit Lieben, if you cut him, he don't care. He'll just keep coming forward.
Yeah.
He's a beast, and I mean, Bisping can win. Bisping can win. He's a great fighter. He's got a good training camp. He's always in good shape.
Yeah, he's always in good shape.
And he's got some good ground and pound. His stand-up's amazing. But he's not had to fight somebody like Lieben.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be a little bit overwhelmed by Lieben. I think he's underestimating his power.
Yeah, and if you go back to the Hamill fight, and you watch Bisping fight Hamill, as soon as Bisping realized that Hamill had some power and that there was a possibility of him being knocked out if he stayed in. He pretty much backpedaled through about that whole fight.
And don't forget about Lieben's ground game or Bisping's ground game. If it goes to ground, it's going to be pretty. I give Bisping a little bit more on Lieben on the ground, but don't take it away from Lieben. He's got wrestling. He'll be able to get back up. And
he has good submissions too. He's good from the bottom. A lot of people don't realize that he is a very active guard.
Yeah. Bisping's jiu-jitsu is really good. I mean, this is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a really good fight. And whoever wins this fight will possibly go on to maybe be a top contender to fight Anderson Silva. Maybe they'll need another fight. We're not sure, but I can't wait to see this fight. And
I'm going with Lieben.
I'm going with Lieben.
All right.
Then that's our predictions for UFC 89, and we will see you next time.